an epic rumble. Chelsea won, Arsenal won. Real sense of title challenge proctology exam, Raw. Sense of colliding truths crackling under the floodlights at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea, this young collective, starting Estevao, the teen sensation, now known delightfully in the Chelsea way as Steve. Given the start, Cole Palmer back on the bench, the last door fighter. For Arsenal, squad so deep, but also how infinite. Saliba, latest to get a knock in training, being interviewed by me, does that to a man. Gabriel already out. Hincapié and Mosquera starting together. And it was a thunderous start, Raw. It was speed, it was intensity, it was passion, it was tackles flying in, signals sent, feet left in, Thunderdome crap. This was football of Sean Connery, Raw, in The Untouchables. They pull a knife, you pull a gun, he sends one of yours to the hospital, you send one to the morgue. That is the Chelsea-Arsenal way.
Yeah, before the weekend, I think the way this game had been trailed was very much kind of the last stand of the title race. It was, Liverpool have fallen, City have fallen, being beaten by Newcastle last weekend. Chelsea weren't anyone's idea of obvious title contenders. If we want the season not to be a procession until May, Arsenal need to drop points. And I think that framing of it was totally natural, totally understandable. We live in a hype business. What was really interesting, the players clearly believed it. On both teams played like this was a title decider. They were all sting. It was really breathless. It wasn't desperately refined, to be perfectly honest. There was a little bit of kind of people looking for free kicks. But it was what you expect of that sort of game. It was blood and thunder, spit and sawdust. A proper kind of... I always think of Jim Ross, the wrestling commentator, with games like that. It was a slobber knocker.
There was little in the way of midfield control. This was helter-skelter, full tilt. Reece James, mesmeric. Declan Rice, insatiable. Best chances probably fell to Estevao early, but he was heightened. Chelsea were just a complete ripple muscle. And I have to say, there was a slight insecurity to Arsenal's play. A team that are built on the blind trust, the foundational trust they have in Gabriel and Saliba. The absence of both. You felt that gnawing naturally at their sense of self. Got to say, Cucurella, I mentioned him. He's a remarkable footballer. Watching him play Saka just constantly. As soon as Saka touchable, go right through him. I swear I have a theory. It goes up with my Guendouzi theory. I think it's an extension of... If Cucurella did not have a poodle haircut, Raw, I do believe refs would judge him so much harsher. You know how dogs become attuned to humans and they can look at us in a way that manipulates us. They learn how to give us dog eyes. Cucurella just looks almost as close to half man, half doodle, like we bred some crazy human doodle. You can't send off a cute human doodle, can you, Raw?
I think, do you know what? That sounds nuts, obviously. But there must be something in it because he doesn't look like a hard man. He doesn't look like a kind of brute. If he was all like neck tattoos and shaved head, and he was clattering people, I think referees probably would judge him more harshly. He's also got a little bit of a reputation, Cucurella, maybe for being rash rather than malicious, which I wonder if that helps as well a little bit. That there's a sense that he doesn't really know what he's doing. He's just having a nice time.
Exactly what he was doing. If you watch the game again, which I did, every single time Saka got the ball early, signal. And then the ref, and he just genuinely, like my dog Martin Scorsese looks at me when he's done something terrible, like, or any dog owner knows, I don't have to reenact it.
I think you should. But the other thing is that man marking, and that's Cucurella shut down Lamine and Saka in the space of 4 days.
Kind of shut down
Saka. Man marking's a really important skill, and it's actually something we don't see often enough. Just that there was a time in football, not that long ago, where it was pretty standard just to say, well, that guy's their best player, don't let him touch the ball. And now, because systems are king and no one wants to kind of give away part of their attacking weaponry, you see it less and less, but Cucurella's really good at it.
But watching those early exchanges, I marvel because, number one, Chelsea stepping up. But number two, this was exactly the kind of tactic that used to make Arsenal buckle. I talked to Saliba about this on Friday. No longer will they be bullied. I mean, this is, to me, the most impressive part of the Arteta transformation. And then it went headless. Caicedo going in on Marino, left him with a stamp, then quite fantastically feigned his own injury, which was really chef's kiss of a gentleman that's just delivered an ankle breaker. Raw, this Chelsea and red card love story, I think, how many is it? Their 7th red in their last 15 games. This one, though, felt so unnecessary because they were just upper-handing the game.
Yeah, they were on top. It had been a bit of a battle for supremacy. No one was in control. It wasn't a battle for control. They didn't want control, but Chelsea were on top, and they were starting to push Arsenal back. I guess maybe just taking that physical, that robust approach just a little bit too far. But in that moment, you think, well, right, that's it. That's this game gone, and with it, possibly the season, because Arsenal are the best team in the country by a long, long way. Chelsea can't beat them with 10 men. Chelsea won't be able to resist. Arsenal will be able to grind them down, and it felt almost a shame when Caicedo got sent off, not just because Chelsea were reduced to 10, but because the one they were missing is their best player.
But you've also got to remember, Raw, Chelsea with 10 men, that's almost their factory default setting.
They know what they're doing.
Still had the quality individually to make Arsenal unsure. A lot of people at half-time moaning about the lack of shots. I think there was like 3 total on goal in that first half. The XG, yes, minimal. But I've got to say, I loved it, Raw. It was psychologically and emotionally, it was such taut fare.
To see two teams that intense, that determined, that kind of grizzled, it's really hard not to find it completely compelling. It was a really, really good game for what it was, a pitched Premier League battle. But that's kind of the selling point of the Premier League, isn't it?
It was. I mean, it was such fraught fare, and it came alive right after half-time, 48th minute. Chalobah's fine flick, Chelsea's 10th goal from a set piece. This kid joined Chelsea, age of 8, rising up to flick an exquisite header past Arsenal themselves. This was like perfectly executed, caressing that ball home, stunning moment. Oh, just a Superman Selly Raw in the game itself, in the title race. It felt ecstatic.
It didn't. It felt like everything Chelsea deserved because they had ridden out the fact they'd lost Caicedo. They'd been able to impose themselves on Arsenal. And crucially, they'd kind of shown no fear. There was real heart in Chelsea's performance. And that was what meant that when they went ahead, not only did you think, fair enough, you thought, this is a job for Arsenal now to try and turn it round.
It did. It felt like it was like, oh my Lord, oh no, because it was just the 7th goal that Arsenal have conceded in the entire league this season, and it was really fascinating to see how they'd respond. They were honestly shell-shocked to begin with. Ødegaard and Chelsea Benedict-Arnold, Noni Madueke were thrown on. Their impact immediate. Within 2 minutes, Saka tormented Cucurella, made the Chelsea defence buckle, floated in a Lob City cross for the quite potent Mikel Merino to dunk home. Utter delirium. 20 goals in 2025 for that big man.
Merino is a midfielder and he is a forward. He is both of those things. He can actually play defensive midfield, attacking midfield and centre forward. And that makes him incredibly valuable because when he's up front, you don't think Arsenal will lack cutting edge. But Merino's return's pretty good.
Yeah, he's like Michael Keane is the only other player I can think who is a centre forward and a makeshift centre back. But I do think it's time to take this asterisk off him. This makeshift notion does him a deep disservice. We've got to credit Chelsea in this second half. I was blown away. My game notes at around 70 minutes, I wrote, they will tire. They did not tire. They kept coming, kept conjuring shots. I think they had more shots with 10 men than City had mustered with 11 against Arsenal. Delap had a chance on the turn for Chelsea. I was, by the way, so impressed with David Raya. I don't think he gets enough love. He's amazing at keeping locked and ready. Keep watching him. It's remarkable to watch his focus and his concentration. I want to pay tribute to Chelsea first, Raw. I was really moved by this performance. You've kind of hit this. We talk about them as being like almost an unstable element, personality that's just shuffling through the options, really, in a league that's based on duels rather than team identity. But I saw a young team really come of age here. They will draw so much strength from the way they fought with every ounce of their being in this one. You could tell that full time. This is what impressed me the most. They were disappointed with the result. They weren't celebrating at the final whistle. They were almost disappointed, which to me is the ultimate mark of the mentality that Maresca's imbuing. This title challenge wilted last year pretty well around this time when I said, yes, I'll say it. I said it. You didn't. I thought they were title challenges. This year, do you see a difference? Are they for real?
It was a coming-of-age performance. That's exactly what it was. The circumstances of losing your most consistent player, your most reliable player, like the linchpin of your team, to a red card after less than half an hour, and then facing down the champions-elect. And ending the game, Reece James said this afterwards, ending the game disappointed that you did not win. That showcases how well Chelsea played. It showcases their mentality. it shows that there is something forming at Chelsea. I don't know if they're ready yet to win the league. If Arsenal wobble, then it looks to me like Chelsea are to be taken seriously this season. I don't think Arsenal will wobble enough for Chelsea to kind of make the most of it. But yeah, within a year or so, you can see that Maresca is building something. But it's not just those kind of big names that get the headlines and get the attention. It's the fact that, yeah, he's turned Marc Cucurella into a really, really good left-back. He's getting the best out of Wesley Fofana, who's had such problems with injury. There is a real team taking shape at Chelsea. I watched the game yesterday and thought this team is a coming force.
Yeah, I mean, by the way, Pedro Neto has been, for me, one of the delights to watch this season. Arsenal, where are you in this performance? A performance with so many injuries. On one hand, I think they'll feel deep relief that they emerged intact from this quite brutal test. Bigger percentage of them be frustrated that they couldn't finish off this game and they had a man advantage for, 52 minutes?
I think I take the same approach as I suspect Mikel Arteta will, which is Stamford Bridge is one of your hardest fixtures of the season. Chelsea are in a bit of a purple patch. They've hit form. They've only lost once since September. They are a good team. They were second. You've drawn away from home and you've taken a point. That is a point closer to the title. It is not 2 points dropped.
And by the way, that for me, the Arsenal story is the big picture story. And if I was an Arsenal fan, I would be elated to be a third of the way through the season, to have so many players seizing their moment, knowing their role when they're given the moment, and to be 5 points clear at the top, which I think for Arsenal is the only thing that matters right now.